The rain had only just stopped. The streets still glistened, reflecting the soft evening sun like sheets of glass. Cars crawled along, swerving around puddles, while pedestrians stepped carefully, lifting their clothes to avoid splashes. At the corner of the street stood a young woman. Her name was Nneka. Her clothes were faded and worn, clinging loosely to her thin frame. One side of her slippers had torn open. Her hair was rough and unkempt, and beneath her tired eyes lay the shadows of too many sleepless nights. She hadn't eaten since the day before. With a trembling hand, she reached out. "Please, help me," she whispered. People passed. Some didn't look at her at all. Some glanced briefly, their faces filled with pity. Others looked at her with open disgust. Nneka had learned not to expect anything different. But that day, something happened. A sleek black car approached. As it neared, instead of slowing, it accelerated. Nneka tried to step back, but she was too late. Splash! A wave of dirty water burst from a roadside puddle and drenched her completely. Her clothes clung to her body. Mud streaked across her face. Nneka stood there, frozen. Then the car stopped. The door opened. A woman stepped out. She was tall, elegant, and beautiful. Dressed in a perfectly tailored suit and sharp heels, she carried herself with effortless confidence. She looked at Nneka, and then she laughed. Not a gentle or kind laugh, but a loud, cruel laugh. "Oh my God, look at you," she said between bursts of laughter. Who would have believed? Nneka said nothing. Her lips quivered. Her chest tightened, as if something sharp had pierced through her heart. She couldn't understand it. Why would a stranger be so cruel? The lady walked closer, a faint smile still playing on her lips. "You don't remember me?" she asked. Nneka slowly shook her head. The lady leaned in, her voice dropping, her eyes turning cold. "You will." Then a pause. Does the name Kosi ring a bell? Nneka stood there, trembling. Her mind spun. Kosi. The name echoed in her head. It sounded familiar. Then suddenly, it hit her. Her eyes widened. How is that possible? Long before the streets, long before the suffering, there was a big house, a mansion, white walls, tall gates, clean floors. That house belonged to Nneka's family, and inside that house lived another girl. Her name was Kosi, but back then she was nothing more than the housemaid's daughter. Kosi's mother worked for Nneka's family. She cleaned, cooked, washed, and did everything she was told. Kosi helped her, even as a child. She woke up early, swept the compound, fetched water, washed clothes, and still she went to school. Kosi was different. She was quiet, respectful, and extremely intelligent. Her teachers loved her. Her clothes were always neat. Her results were always the best. Even Nneka's parents noticed. Nneka, why can't you be like Kosi? Her mother would say. Look at how hardworking she is. Her father would add. Those words, they planted something dark inside Nneka. Jealousy. Deep, burning jealousy. Nneka hated Kosi, not because Kosi did anything wrong, but because Kosi was everything she was not: disciplined, focused, and intelligent. Nneka began to change. She became cruel. She would dirty her clothes on purpose and throw them at Kosi. Wash it again, she would shout. She would scatter the house after Kosi had cleaned it. Sometimes, she would spill food on the floor just to watch Kosi clean it again. And Kosi, she never complained. Not once. She just kept working, kept studying, kept hoping for a better life. But instead, Nneka's cruelty grew worse. One day, Nneka's father was preparing to leave the house, but he couldn't find his gold wristwatch. He searched everywhere, his room, his drawers, even the sitting room, but it was nowhere to be found. Soon, his frustration turned into anger. "Who took my wristwatch?" he demanded, his voice loud and threatening. No one answered. After a moment, Nneka stepped forward and said calmly, "Daddy, maybe we should search everyone's bags. That way, we'll know who took it." Her father nodded immediately. It sounded like the right thing to do. "Bring all the bags," he ordered, one after the other. The bags were searched. Nothing was found. Then they got to Kosi's mother's bag. As it was opened and searched, the gold wristwatch appeared. For a second, the room fell completely silent. Kosi's mother froze in shock. "No, sir, this is not mine," she said quickly, her voice shaking. "I didn't take it, I swear. You have to believe me." Kosi rushed forward. "Please, sir, my mother didn't do it. We didn't put it there." But her words fell on deaf ears. Nneka stood quietly, watching. Kosi looked at her, and in that instant, she knew. There was no doubt in her mind. It was Nneka. She had planted it, but there was no proof. Nneka's father was furious. His face hardened as anger took over. "So this is how you repay me?" he shouted. "After everything I've done for you, housing you, feeding you, even paying your daughter's school fees." Kosi's mother fell to her knees, crying. "Please, sir, we are not thieves." "Enough," he snapped. "You are both ingrates, thieves." His voice echoed through the house. "Get out of my house." Kosi held her mother tightly as tears streamed down her face. Before leaving, she turned and looked at Nneka. There was pain in her eyes, but beneath it, something else, something deeper, something that would not forget. Life outside the mansion was cruel, very cruel. Kosi and her mother had nowhere to go, no relatives, no friends willing to help. They slept in an abandoned, uncompleted building. There were cold nights, mosquitoes feeding on them. And then there was hunger in capital letters, rain leaking through broken roofs. But her mother didn't give up. She walked everywhere, in people's homes, in small restaurants, anywhere she could find something. Kosi too began to struggle. She hugged booths on the streets, sold pure water, ran errands, worked small jobs, and still she went to school. She studied under street lights, sometimes on an empty stomach, sometimes while crying. But she never stopped, because deep inside her, there was a fire, a quiet promise. I will not remain like this forever. Years passed, hard years, difficult years, but something unexpected happened. Kosi entered a national academic competition. She almost didn't. She had no proper materials, no coaching, no support, but her teacher insisted. "You are special, Kosi," he told her. "Don't waste it." Kosi tried. She gave everything she had. And when the results came out, her life changed. She won a full scholarship, university admission, a new beginning. Her mother cried that day, not from pain, but from joy. For the first time in years, hope felt real. Kosi graduated and secured a high-paying job. While Kosi was rising, Nneka was falling. Her life became careless. She stopped taking school seriously. She eventually dropped out. She partied, ignored responsibilities, spent money recklessly. Then tragedy struck. Her parents died in a terrible accident. Everything was left to her. But she was not ready. She had no discipline, no wisdom, no guidance. Slowly, the wealth disappeared. She made bad decisions. She had wrong friends. Until one day, there was nothing left. No house, no money, no support. And just like that, Nneka found herself on the street. The same street where years later Kosi would find her. Back to the present. Nneka stood in the mud, soaked, broken, and now she remembered Kosi, the girl she once hurt, the girl she thought she destroyed. Tears filled her eyes. Her knees gave way. She fell to the ground. "Please," she whispered, "please forgive me." Kosi stopped. Her hand froze on the car door. Silence filled the air. The past stood between them. Kosi slowly turned. Her eyes met Nneka's. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she walked back. Kosi stood beside her car, her laughter gone. Nneka knelt in the dirty water, trembling. "Please, forgive me. I hurt you. I hurt your mother. I destroyed your life." Kosi gave a bitter smile. She stepped closer. "Do you know what it felt like to watch my mother beg and no one believed her? To go hungry, to suffer?" Nneka broke down. "I was jealous, wicked. I was the one that took the watch. I wanted you gone. I'm sorry." Kosi's voice dropped. "I knew it was you, but your father would never have believed me." Nneka was speechless. Pain flooded Kosi's heart. Memories of hunger, shame, and loss. But as she looked at Nneka, something shifted. One side of her felt satisfied. Another side felt disgusted with herself. Because what had she just done? She had splashed water on a woman already drowning in life. She had laughed at someone already crushed by pain. For one terrible moment, she had become the very person she once hated. Kosi looked down at Nneka again. Slowly, she said, "Please stand up." She helped her to her feet. "Nneka, what you did was evil. I may never forget it. But today, I was wrong too. Please forgive me." Nneka looked confused. "I shouldn't have treated you that way. No matter what you did, that was beneath me." "I deserved it," Nneka cried. Kosi shook her head. "No, no one deserves to be treated like trash." Nneka wept. Then, to her surprise, Kosi stepped forward and hugged her, ignoring the dirt on her clothes and the stares of passers-by. From that moment, everything changed. Kosi helped Nneka rebuild her life. And Nneka, now humbled and transformed, carried a quiet regret. She only wished her parents were still alive to see the person she had finally become. Moral of the story: jealousy, pride, and wickedness can destroy a person. But humility, hard work, and kindness can rebuild a broken life. Never look down on people because life can change at any time. The person you mock today may rise tomorrow, and the person who has everything today may lose it all. And in the process of revenge or pain, be careful not to become the same kind of person who once hurt you.